तू चलता चल तू चलता चल तू चलता चल.
Ajeet sir, good morning and welcome to No Frills Academy platform. It's be a pleasure listening to your experiences for the young kids of No Frills Academy.
Good morning, sir. I'm so sorry. I was playing a tournament.
Yes,
and,
sir. You are always playing tournament, sir.
I just finished my, match.
I hope you won it, sir.
Yeah, I was playing the finals, sir.
Oh, congratulations, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very nice, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir.
Yeah,
Good
good morning.
Yeah, Shiva, you take on. Ajit sir is there. You ask him things and tell him you all know about his background more than all of that.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Today we have with us Dr. Ajeet Bhardwaj, sir. He is a renowned optometrist of India. He graduated from AIMS New Delhi in 1979 and later completed his AM Optom from Lotus College of Optometry, Mumbai. He is the founder and director of Optic in Vasant Vihar, New Delhi. It is a chain of optometry clinics with retail stores across India since 1988. He is also the past president of Asia Pacific Council of Optometry and the Indian Optometry Federation. Ajit sir is also an avid tennis player and plays for Indian senior tennis team and represent India in international championships. His time traveling with the Indian team built his interest to develop. We welcome you, sir. Good morning.
Thank you. Hi, good morning. I think I've got a very good introduction, and it's my privilege and great honor to be talking to young aspirant who wants to join the Defense Forces. And there cannot be any better moment for me to address, people who will be serving this nation. And I have greatest regard for this profession and greatest regard for this service which you will all provide in near future, so that we can sleep well in our rooms. You guard our borders, you guard our country. And this is one of the best profession you have decided to be in. And I have been in great contact with most of the defense personnel. Col Nehru is one of them. I have many friends. I'm married to a defense background family. My father-in-law was a brigadier, retired brigadier. He was the head of DRDO in Pune, and he was making guns for army, and he was heading that department. So it's my privilege and great honor to be talking to you. I'm not really sure whether I may inspire you for taking a journey into defense, but there are many things which you can derive from my struggle in life. I'm an ordinary boy like you. I wanted to be a doctor. I came from a very small village in Haryana, and that village is very close to Patodi. I belong to Jajjar district, where I had my schooling. I did my matriculation. We used to call that the 10th standard from government high school in Patoda is the village where I come from. And as you understand, even still, the language used to be a big of barrier for us, in the sense that in Haryana, the English medium or we learn English only in 6th standard, and we hardly get to understand or speak English when we go to college. So I had my schooling in Haryana in this village, and after passing out my 10th standard, I wanted to be a doctor. And as you understand, coming from a village, most of people from Haryana, because of our kind of culture or background or the kind of exposure we get in a village, most of the people, most of my colleagues, most of my classmates in 10th standard, they either went to army to join as a, subedar, join as a Jawan. Some of them or many of them are in Delhi police, and many of them are bus drivers in Delhi. And so telling anybody that I want to become a doctor was something which they didn't expect me to do. And immediately, when you pass out, you want to take guidance from your parents. And I asked my father what line I should choose, as you like to ask your friends, your peers, your parents. So, I asked my father, what line or what profession should I go in? And I'm very lucky the answer he gave me. He said, it's not me, it's your life. My job is to provide you with the fees, provide you with the support. The decision of your profession is yours. And that was the last time I ever asked any question from my father regarding my career. And I'm very thankful for this reply, what he gave it to me, because after that, all decisions of my life were taken by me. And I decided to take medical subject, which most of us prefer to do. And it so happened that when I joined from a Hindi medium, I joined English medium, communication of all your subject, I failed in my first attempt, which used to be pre-university exam. And the closest college used to be in Patodi, or it's called Col Nehru College. Still, the college still exists. And I failed in my first exam. And it was a setback for me because till 10th standard, I was one of the brightest student. And because whatever the lecturers were speaking, I couldn't really understand what they were talking about. And again, I decided that should I try again, because no one from not village, but 20 villages around my town, my village, 20 villages around, no one has taken this subject till date. So I decided that I will make another attempt. But when I decided to go back to the college, because not only me, the whole of the class had failed in that year. So they decided that they will not take this, they will not teach this subject. And the only option for me was to go to another town. The closest town was Rewari. And it was a tough decision because traveling to Rewari meant that I will be cycling from my village to Patodi, which is about 8 kilometers, and then take a train from there to go to Rewari station. Then from there, I'll walk again to college. And this was my routine for next year. And fortunately, I did well next year and next year again. And by the time I was looking to get admission in the medical college Rohtak, in those days, the admission used to be on the basis of merit, number of, your exams used to be based on percentage you get. And I was very hopeful and very, positive that I will get admission. But things don't happen the way you plan. And that very year in 1976, there was only one medical college in Rohtak. They decided that it will no longer be merit-based system. It will be an entrance exam. And again, I appeared for exam. I failed. At the same time, I just saw in Hindustan Times that there was an advertisement from All India Institute of Medical Sciences that they want to have an optometry curriculum. And I did not know what optometry meant. So I went to AIMS and took the prospectus. And they said, you will be just like a primary eye care doctor, where you will be prescribing glasses, prescribing contact lenses, treating patients for common eye ailment. And you'll be doing the public health system, which I felt is very close to being a doctor, because same thing happens in the medical profession, except the surgical part. Most of the facilities or most of the rights, they were given to optometrist as per the prospectus. And I appeared for an entrance test. I passed through, I appeared for an interview, and then I happened to get admission into this 4-year optometry program at All India Institute of Medical Sciences way back in 1976. And but my mind was still, on getting admission into medical college. So I said, okay, I'll give another try. And in 1976, appeared for another exam, which for Rohtak for next year. And I said that side by side, I'll be preparing for my medical. At the same time, I'll be doing my optometry. So I was doing both preparations. I got through entrance exam and there was no interview for that. And I was to get into Rohtak Medical College. I was just supposed to go and deposit my fees and appear for a minimal, like normal medical exam for Medical College Rohtak. So when I got that letter, I was very happy. And I said, okay, now I'm over with this optometry. And I was very fond of playing, and I was playing badminton in the AIMS campus. Just 3 days before my medical and my fees deposit date, I was playing badminton and I went to pick up a drop. Somebody gave me a drop and I rushed that the person will give, because when in badminton, you give one drop and the person will give another drop. But instead of giving a drop, he gave a smash and that directly hit into my right eye. And I totally lost my vision. I was rushed to my own hospital and there was a lot of bleeding in my right eye. I lost my vision. Totally, I was admitted. But 3 days later, I was supposed to go to Rohtak Medical College. I went there. I thought that this is a minor issue, which they will consider, but they rejected me because I was not able to see. And they said that we can only grant you the admission if your treating hospital can give you a letter that your vision will become normal. But I was very hopeful because since I was a student at KIMS, I said that they will support me in my career. I came back and I requested my doctor that you should give me the letter. My vision will come back. Things did not work the way I wanted. And they said that, sorry, you are wasting career of another student. This is just a new course and we will not let you go because you have a bond with us to work for the rest of like 5 years after even you complete your course. And it so happened that instead of being positive, getting a positive response from AIMS, I was given a letter to the Rohtak Medical College that this child should not be given admission because he is blocking the student's seat here. And I decided that it is my fate to become an optometrist. And that day I meant that it is not sometimes what you really want to do, but sometimes your destiny takes you where you will be. So I totally believe in that your hard work, your everything could be one side, but your destiny also plays an important role. And when you hear my rest of the story, you will really believe that to happen. And immediately I passed out. I got a job because I got a job in Connaught Place. There was a famous optician still existing called Bonton Opticians in New Delhi in Connaught Place. I was taking care of the eye clinic upstairs. And I was very happy with the job. I was very happy with the salary I was getting, the commissions I used to make. And really, because I was just 19, 20 years of age and good salary, good location, good kind of profile of people, patients you come across. And I was satisfied with what I was doing. And one day, it so happened that I saw a Nigerian coming into my clinic. And he introduced himself that he is a Dr. Monanu and he runs chain of eye hospitals in Nigeria. So I asked him, like, what can I do for you? So he said that I have gone to your institutions and they have given you a recommendation that you are one of the good students of AIMS. And I want you to come to Nigeria and work with my eye hospital. So he said that not from AIMS only, I've got 3 doctors who are working there. And I've got about 10 eye specialists and about 13 optometrists working from India, working in my chain of eye hospitals. So he asked me to come to meet me in Moria. He was staying in Moria. He said that you can meet me tomorrow and we can discuss about your salary structure, how will you go and how will be taking care of your all traveling and expenses. So I went to meet him next day and I said, I never made a plan to go out of country and I don't have a passport. He said, everything will be taken care. And everything materialized. And on 10th of December 1980, I was on my flight to go to Nigeria to work in an eye hospital. And in those days, things were not as easy. Foreign exchange to go out was really tough. If you are going like this, we used to get a foreign traveling allowance of $20. I had $20 in my pocket. I took a flight. I was to reach to a city called Enugu, which is just like suppose you are in Meerut and I was to land in Delhi. So like Lagos is the capital. So I was supposed to land in Lagos and I landed in Lagos. And next thing I see is this, that all the taxi drivers, they come, they make a kind of, they understand that anybody coming from India has only $20. And the transportation from domestic to international airport, they all collided and they said that, okay, they will take $20 for me to drop to the, I said, okay, fine, let me just take the flight. And I paid $20. I went to the domestic airport and it so happened that this delay of taxis made me to lose my flight that day. So I had no money at the airport and I had to find a way. In alien countries, a young boy of 19, 20 years of age, I did not know where to go, where to stay, but wait for the next flight to go to take to Enugu. And in December, like we have our celebration Diwali, they have a big celebration of Christmas. And everything closes for Christmas. Everybody is in a holiday mood. Everybody is in a festive mood. And they have a particular weather called Harmattan. Harmattan is a dusty weather where the visibility goes down. And next morning, since I was staying at the airport, I was the first one to board the flight. And when the plane was about to land at Enugu, I heard an announcement that sorry, the weather is bad. I cannot fly. The visibility is poor, and I'm taking back all this flight back to Lagos. And I was again in Lagos, and you'd be surprised that I was at the airport without any money, without any food, without any water, because they don't normally have provision for water. They normally drink beer. And for 6 days, I was at the airport waiting for my flight to take me to Enugu. There was no way of communicating anybody. Communication used to be poor. And there was no way that I could contact my director, nor my home, nor my office, nor my non-months. So it was a big, setback or the kind of, you can understand the state of somebody being in a different country among different people. And finally, one taxi driver saw me that I've been seeing you for the last 6 days, 7 days at this airport. You sleep here, you wake up here. It's a small domestic airport, it's very small. He said, why don't you take my taxi and we go? I said that it's not a small distance. It's like 14, 15 hours to drive. He said, okay, will your director pay? I said, I'll convince him to pay. And I decided that there's no other option for me because I don't know for how long this will stay. And after 7th day, I decided that I sat in his taxi and it took me to Enugu. And we were traveling. It was a long journey. And then I saw a place called Unisha, and when I saw the visiting card of my director, there was an address of this town. There was an eye hospital in this town also. So I decided that, okay, let me check this eye hospital. Maybe I'll find somebody known to me, or when I introduce myself, they will take care of me. But it was around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the night, and they said that they didn't open the door because they have a lot of robberies, they have a lot of burglaries, so they don't normally open the door, after 8, 9 o'clock. And I had to sleep in the car. And next morning, I found myself surrounded by, a lot of people that what this white man, because they call us white men in African countries. And they said, what this man is sleeping in the car. And then they opened the hospital door, they took me to the doctor, and the doctor happened to my ex-teacher at AIMS. When I was a student at AIMS, he was an eye specialist here and moved to the same company where we were working together. Things can be difficult, things can be beyond your imaginations and you need to not be prepared, but sometimes you have to face adverse situations, which I know that in defense force is very common, but not in civilian life. But that's why my entry into Nigeria. But when I went there, I had a very, very good job. I was very satisfied with my professional output. I was working in eye hospital, taking care of all patients' needs. And my contract used to get, renewed every 2 years. I was young, and then you have a lot of money at young age. I had a car, I had a big house. So you get into all this. Being young, I was a vegetarian here, but then if the situation forced me to turn into non-vegetarian, because vegetarian food was never not available anywhere, and I was being alone. No, there was not all the time I could cook, but things turned out to be in such a way that I had to turn to non-vegetarian food. And similarly, you get exposed to. I have. I used to see patients in my clinic and come home. That was my job, and it continued for every 2 years. I renew my contract. My salary used to hike up, and the law of that country said that 50% of your income can be remitted to your country, and 50% you have to spend, and 50% of that was a big money. So you start to, at that age, you get exposed, you started drinking, you start partying, and you do all this what you all do at young age. So I was doing that and happy with what I'm doing. And 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and 7, 8 years passed. And I had a girlfriend whom I had a serious relation, and she was a Nigerian, and there was a likelihood of that I will get married to that girl, and I decided that I'm not going to come back to India. I will stay in that country because of the kind of luxury, kind of comfort I had. 1987, I decided that we used to get 2 years of work and 2 months of leave. And with the salary you get, with the money you get, I traveled all over the world. I could travel every year for my Christmas holidays. I could 2 years, I'll be back home, I'll meet my family and go back. So January 87, my contract was getting renewed. I renewed my contract, and I was coming to India for holiday. And just the way I explained it to you, I came to Lagos to take the flight, international flight to Delhi. And the flight was around 10 o'clock. So two of my friends who were with me, they said that, you normally, you have friendship, you have close friends, and they want to drop you to the airport. So two of them decided that they will drop me to airport in my car. And three of us were coming. I was to come back to India, and they will decide they will drop me, and they were from Lagos. And three of us were traveling back. And things so happened that suddenly, just 10 minutes before airport, my flight was around 10 p.m. in the night. 8 o'clock, I was taking it was a kind of flyover, and my friend was driving. I was sitting on the front seat. My car was blocked from the front. Somebody overtook me and parked this car right in front of me. So I decided, my friend thought that he expected some panic and he wanted to reverse. But at the same time, he felt that we were blocked from the front and we were blocked from the back. And few people came out from the front and back. And randomly, they started shooting on us. They took out their revolvers, they took out their guns. And the shooting was going on. And after three of us were shot, we were thrown out of the car on the street of Lagos. And they fled with everything what we had. After shooting, he came to me, one of the robbers who came to me. He took out my wallet, he took out my watch, and I was shot. I pretended as if I'm dead. And they rushed, they went with everything what we had. And we were all shouting with pain, three of us. And because when the shooting goes on, they start shooting in the air so that nobody comes, and with that shooting in the air, things, will become panic, and there's people rush, held shelter, and there were nobody to be seen. After 45 minutes, I was bleeding on the side of the road. And after 45 minutes, I saw a taxi stop, and he put me in his taxi, and he after putting in the taxi, he said that, do you have any money to give it to me after I drop you to the hospital? I told him that I don't have anything. So he said, oh, what a waste. I have to wash my car and you have made my car dirty. The whole car has to be cleaned. I will drop you to the next hospital. And he dropped me to the hospital close by. It did not look to me in the hospital. It was, I remember, Saturday night, and people are in a relaxed mood on a holiday on a weekend. And the doctor was called and he said that, unfortunately, you're in the wrong hospital. This was a veterinary hospital where he dropped me. And since I introduced himself, he said, since you are a colleague, I'll put you in my ambulance and I'll take you to the hospital, which is like Lagos Teaching Hospital. So I said, fine. I mean, I had no option. And he put me to this ambulance. You know, the ambulance, which is supposed to be for animals or which is supposed to carry, you know, they're different. It's totally bare. It's just wooden, not wooden, but metallic floor on which I was lying, bleeding. And just like in India, people don't give way to ambulances. Likewise in Nigeria, people don't give way to ambulances. And it was a long half an hour journey for me. And since then, I decided how important an ambulance, you know, emergencies are. And people, we don't take things, we take things for granted, don't give them way. But when you are in that position, you realize that it is very, very important. The life is at risk. And finally, the veterinary doctor dropped me to the teaching hospital in Lagos, where I was admitted. The doctor attended me and I was rushed for x-rays because I was shot in my back. And he was not sure what the injury is. He did my x-ray and he said that, I don't think you are shot. Maybe you're stabbed. But I told him, look, I saw them shooting. I heard shooting. I saw them shooting. I heard a very big impact on my back. He said it could be, you know, you may be stabbed by a rod or a knife. I said, no, I was not in a close proximity like that. So anyway, he did another x-ray, but he said that you're not shot. And that became like that decision. Saturday, Sundays, Monday morning, senior consultant came in and he asked the doctor that you have been taking this, because in those days, x-ray machines used to be very small, and he will put me at a point where my bullet injury or entry was. So he was not able to get the angle. He said that, why don't you take a lateral angle where you make him stand, you know, laterally. And when he took a lateral angle, he discovered there was a bullet which was lodged in. The bullet has, you know, just narrowly escaped my spine, went through my right lung, damaging my liver, was lodged in the right rib cage. And I've been constantly bleeding. And I was finding difficult to breathe. Monday morning, the news spread around and I saw a visitor coming to me. And he introduced himself. He said, I'm Deepak Bohra. I'm Second Secretary of Indian High Commission. And we have come to know the tragic incident you have gone through, and we have to save your life at any cost. And we'll do whatever best we can do. So I requested him one thing, that why, since you are so considerate, why don't you shift me to the same hospital where my two other friends are? And he said, Dr. Bhardwaj, both your friends are dead. And that was a big shock to me. And I was also preparing that I'm also, you know, when you hear a news like that, you feel that you're also going to die very soon. They said that we are sending their bodies back home, and we will do whatever best we can do to save your life here. And Monday morning, the news of my accident went viral. Not in those days, we did not have social media, but it was on TV and papers. And you know, the penalty for death, penalty for such crime in Nigeria is that if you are a robber and caught, then they hang you with the, you know, football field with the post, and they shoot you in public. So on Monday night, I was told that I will be moved out from this hospital because of security concern, because there may be another attack on me. And the embassy, Indian embassy decided to shift me to another location. And I did not know where I was. In the night of Monday, I was moved in another escorted van, heavily guarded, and I was taken to another place. And this place was isolated in the sense that was a single room. There was no other patient. I was the only patient in that, and heavily guarded by police. And nobody was allowed. Nobody was able to know. Nobody knew where I was, and nobody was able to know, where was the outcome, in the sense that there was one nurse, me, and that's all. And the doctors came and they said that, sorry, we have to operate on you next morning. That's Tuesday morning. So I said, fine. I mean, I have no other option to do. He said that your bleeding is getting so much that your heart may stop functioning because of the bleeding inside. The heart is not able to pump anymore. And we have to do an emergency operation on you. I said, fine, please go ahead. He said, but there's a consent you have to give and there's a risk you have to carry. And our anesthetist, he is not able to take the risk in the sense to give you general anesthesia and put you to sleep. Because of your one lung, you may not be able to recover after the operation is over. So I said that what is the implication? She said the implication is that the surgery has to be done when you are awake, in the sense, and at the same time it's very painful surgery. In ophthalmology, in eyes, we see very tiny, very sophisticated, small surgical instruments. And I thought the surgery will be like this. But in orthopedics, or when it's cardiovascular, the surgeries are really barbaric. He said the operation involves that we have to break your ribs and make a puncture in the rib and let the blood ooze out from this, because the blood is getting accumulated and pressing your lung. So he took a kind of chisel and hammer and put on my ribs and started doing thak, thak, thak. And he was breaking my ribs right when I was awake, and it's really painful. And when the rib was broken, you'll be surprised that the pressure inside was so much of the blood that it went, as I had touched the ceiling, it's like the blood oozed like a fountain. And that, after that, there was a bottle that was connected with a tube, and I was supposed to continue breathing hard and as you breathe, the blood comes out, and this process continued for another 10 days. And I was still moved in that private hospital where no one was supposed to know, no one was supposed to meet me except this Indian embassy official, which they were used to be third secretary, Mr. Pradhan. He and his wife used to visit me. They used to get me food. They used to take care of me, and I had no visitor. But that's how I was. And then on 13th day, Deepak Voraji came again and he said that, doctor, we have done one surgery, but there's another surgery which is required, is that we have to remove your bullet. And we want to shift you to London for this surgery. And, in that, when your friends are dead, you feel, really homesick. And I said that if I survive, I like to better, you're not sure whether you will survive or you will not survive. So I requested him that I want to go back to India. But he said that will be at your risk, because we feel that hospital is better, because the doctors we have talked to them. And so I said that, no, I want to go back, and I want to do it in India, the second surgery. So after 15 days of my, recovery, I decided that I gave an affidavit that it's at my own risk. He said, in India, nobody will, here we can take care of you, but in India, you have to be on your own. So I said, fine, I'll take that. I decided to come back to Delhi. Being from AIMS, I was still on a wheelchair. Being from AIMS, alumni of AIMS, it was very easy for me I had access to the head of department of surgery. And I went to I fixed an appointment and they said that fine, your surgery is fixed. You can come and do the operation anytime. So I said, okay. And but I decided to ask him, doc, I mean, how many bullets you have removed? He said, frankly, none, because in 1987, such kind of incidents were very rare in India, particularly on a civilian street. So I had a very doubt about not his competency, but I said that I'm sorry, but I want to get this surgery done by somebody who has experience of removing bullet, because I knew that bullet injury is not like any other injury. Because when the bullet burns your whole things, when it passes from the revolver, pistol is very hot. So all your organs are burnt inside, and because of the heat. So he said that only people who can be expert in this is the army doctors, because they are the only one who are exposed to or who have experience of doing this. So why don't you go to army hospitals? So I decided that I had somebody known, and I decided that I fixed an appointment with the cardiothoracic surgeon in base hospital, Delhi. And he checked. He said that fine, it's a normal procedure for us. Our soldiers, they normally get this kind of such injuries very common. But there is one challenge, that you being a civilian, there is no way that we can operate upon you except that you get a permission from the president's office. And since I was out of country, I had lost all my contacts in India. There was no way to reach the president of India for giving me the permission to get the operation in army hospital. So I decided there was no way, and I decided that I had to drop that idea. So what next? What should I do with this bullet? Because it was painful. I was getting temperature every day. It was very painful. So I decided that I have to choose another option. And the option I took is this, that I said that I will go to a place where such injuries are common. And I narrowed down a very criminal infected area of Bihar. Place is called Mukama. There is a missionary hospital there. And this hospital, there was a surgeon. His name is Dr. Sethi, who is from Bangalore. He was the expert in removing bullets. Why? Because the bullets are fired every night. There's a gang war every night between criminals, between people are shot every evening. So I fixed an appointment with him, and they said that don't worry, you are in safe hands. He said that you are coming to hospital. Normally people come and carry me, that they want to be removed in their homes. They put gun on my head and they say, come and remove this bullet from my colleague at their home. So I got this bullet removed, and I decided that now my parents did not allow me to go back to Nigeria anymore. And they said that you finish your contract, you finish your agreement with them. And I went back, finished my obligations, and decided to start my own practice by the name of Optique in Basant Vihar. You know what you plan sometimes? All my money, which I saved in last 9 years in Nigeria, went in my sickness, and I left with very little money. I went there to make money, but when I came back, I was not having sufficient money to start my clinic again. And the only way I could, or whatever I could afford a small clinic in the basement in Basant Vihar. In those days, clinics in Basant Vihar or clinic in Delhi in basement were not common, but that was the only option for me. And I was the first optical shop or optometry clinic which started in the basement. And in 1988, I started this clinic where I by the name of Optique, and fortunately, I recovered. But the doctor told me that because you have lost one lung, you have lost part of your liver, you will not be doing anything, which involves hectic activities. You will be, since your job does not demand that, you should be seeing your patient, you should be happy with what you're doing. And I said, okay, I was very happy with whatever practice I was doing. I established one practice, two practices, and gradually and slowly within 10 years, I was able to establish 14 eye care clinics in different cities in India. And with that, I was able to provide service to defense forces, because with the later time I added hearing aids in my practice. And since I was close to, in Vasant Vihar, I was close to R&R Hospital and Base Hospital, I was affiliated with them to provide hearing aids to all the defense service personnel for, for retired and their dependents. And I had 30, I had good, got 30 established medical hospitals or army hospitals where we were supplying hearing aids to all the defense forces personnel. So that's the professional journey I had. And when you are doing well in India, you're eating well, you're drinking well, you tend to gain weight. And one day, one patient comes to me. He has been my old patient coming to me from last 10 years. And he is A Marshal Sabiki. He was commandant of NDA. And he told me, Doc, I don't think I'll be coming to you anymore. So I thought that maybe I did not check his eyes properly. Maybe I did not make his glasses properly. I said, sorry, sir, what happened? He said, I've been watching you since you started your practice since last 10, 12 years. He said, you were very fit when you started this practice, but you have been gaining so much of weight. Can you see yourself? You're too much overweight. And if you can't take care of your health, how can you take care of my eyes? And that made me to think, that made me introspect, that I decided that I was 88 and I'm very short. I'm 5 feet 8 inches. And I looked at myself that day and I said that I have to do something. If he, being an army officer, can say something on your face, but there must be many people who will feel that way, but will not say, and they will move out of my practice. And that day I decided that I will pick up some sport to play. And I remember it was 1999. 1998-99, the Vasant Vihar club was being built and they started a tennis court close by. And I said that let me try and put my hand at tennis. And I never, in Haryana, tennis was not that popular, not only too popular in the sense that no one had seen, I had never seen tennis sport in Haryana in those days. It's only, I never followed the game. I never followed any sports person, any tennis player, because I was not interested. But that comment made me to, just for my fitness, I decided that I'll play some sport. I picked up my tennis racket and started playing at the club level. From club level to another club to started playing some other tournament out of Delhi, started playing nationals, started playing ITF, started playing ITA tournaments. And slowly and steadily, I became number one single player in India. So it's just a journey you decide to take. And I did not think that my motto was to become fit. But then I realized that tennis is not to become fit. First, you have to be fit and then you have to play tennis. So, and that journey continued. I played a finals here in Gurgaon and this morning. And that was my journey for sports in the sense that I'm one of the top ranked players in 60. I moved to 65 next year. I've been a regular member of Indian tennis team that play in World Championship. So I started playing at 40, 65. I've represented India at least 5-6 times in World Championships and different countries. And I play ITF very regularly. Col Nehru knew me and we met at the same time. We have played many times. Good competitor and a good fighter, and I love to play with him. And that's the way I spend most of my time. When you are good in any sport, you have many followers, particularly in social media. And somebody has been following me for quite some time, and his name is Sunil Walekar. Anytime I put any message about my victory at any place, he will be the first one to comment. And one day he sends me a message that he wants to meet me, and That was last year. So I said, I said, I'm from Bombay, but I've been following you. I want to meet you in Delhi. I'm coming for some work. So we met, and he is there's a new sport in US called pickleball, and he was the vice president of pickleball. And he said, why don't you try your hands at pickleball? And I said, where are the courts? He said that, why don't you build a court in Vasant Vihar Club? So last year we decided to build a court in Vasant Vihar Club of pickleball. This is the fastest growing sport in US, and about 7 million people are playing. It's something like tennis and badminton and table tennis. And we built the court, and like the same way I started with tennis, I started playing pickleball last year. And within last 1 year, I've become world's #1 pickleball player in the world. My ranking is highest in the world. If you go to pickleball global, I'm #1 player from India in pickleball. So that's my journey of tennis and pickleball. And I'll tell you something about my profession. When I got into profession, my job was to become my dream was to become a doctor. But situation in India is such that things which I was promised by my government, by my institution, did not really happen. As per the prospectus, as per my teaching, as per what I did in Nigeria, I used to prescribe medicine, treat patients, give them medication, give them injections. Except the surgical part, I used to do everything. And it so happened that I said that I have to, and this is what is happening globally. And it so happened that I happened to become the president of my federation, of my professional association. And I decided to move court against the government that my rights should be given back to me, which were promised when I was a student. Though my life is over, but I don't want other people to suffer the same way which I suffered. And we took the matter to the court. And last year, a bill is passed by the parliament. I decided to move court, and we won the case. The government decided that yes, the rights which were promised should be given. And now there's a law in the country. And very soon you will see that the eye care will be regulated. You see the optical shops, they do eye exam. This will now be done professionally. The bill has been passed. It has to be enacted. It may take 1 or 2 years when the things get in order. And this is what we did for profession. And as for the pickleball is concerned, last month I played in Bali in World Championship, where I played my category. I'm 64. I played 60 plus. I won gold medal in 60 plus, won World Championship in 60. I decided to play in a lower category in 50 also, and I won 2 gold medals in 60 and 50 for in Bali recently. So that's my journey in sports, and I still continue to have practice my profession. Any patient who wants to see me, still they call me, they fix a time. Though I spend a lot of my time traveling, playing for either pickleball or tennis. And when I'm in Delhi, I love my job. I like to see my patients who need to take eye care from me, and that's been my journey. And I hope it may inspire someone that in spite of many obstacles, in spite of certain physical challenges, if you make up your mind, you can do it, and you can do it in a way it matters to you and it matters to your country. Thank you very much.
So very inspiring journey, and for the benefit, because we have been playing together as well as against us. I would vouch for Ajeet sir being, despite having just one lung, being not only one of the fittest tennis athletes in the country in the age group. Probably it would be the same at the world level also, sir, because I haven't gone to any international competition at the world level. How is it there, sir?
You see, the only feel I only challenge, or not the challenge, but what I see, when I started going out of country, I felt that my fitness level was not good, because I used to lose to people who were not as capable, but they were fitter than me. Because I went to Switzerland and I was playing with this athlete. And after the game, I was very tired. I could hardly move. And this guy, he came on a bicycle to the playground I asked him before. He said that my home is about 20 kilometers from here.
Oh, baapre.
So, so after playing that 3.5 hours, he was supposed to take his bicycle and go back home. I said that that's the kind of fitness, and he won just because he was more fitter than me. And I said that I have to really work hard on my fitness. And it's not that I really started focusing on fitness more than my sport. And that's what I believe, because if you look at our Indian tennis scene, we have so many players so many good players in doubles. It means we have the tactics, we have the technique, but we lose on our fitness. And that's what I feel is very important for sports like tennis and pickleball, both.
Understood. I got my answer. Thanks a lot for your time, sir. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I
being
appreciate
with
it.
our kids. And
Thank you. I
thanks
really
for sharing.
appreciate, sir.
And we'll be sharing it on Tennis Fanatics. So a lot of people who may be knowing your story partially and all, like I also knew, now we'll be able to get a complete view of the things. So
Thank
that
you.
will be great. Thanks a lot, sir, for sparing your time for
Thank you,
us.
sir. I
Thanks a
really
lot, sir.
appreciate
Good day to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Good day.